I'm finally doing my review on Shin Godzilla. If no one knows, I am a huge Godzilla fan. By huge, I mean this guy huge. You know the big atomic dinosaur thing that has atomic breath. Godzilla, he's taking over my channel. So yeah, if no one knows, I am a huge Godzilla fan. Kind of owns half the title, so I have a special guest. Godzilla himself. Oh my god, it's Godzilla. I was gonna do this a lot later, but I decided, fuck people, I'll spoil the whole movie. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. You're all amazing. Don't subscribe. So here we go. 2 videos in one day. Yeah. But also, I have to do this video because my Wii gamepad died. I have to wait for it to charge. So let's do this. So, Shin Godzilla. It's a great movie, I have to say that, but it's not better than 2014. No, it's not. It's boring. Got boring at the second the end of the second act. Like around when they were like planning on how to kill Godzilla when Godzilla was asleep. Yeah, like for that half of the movie. It was just so stupid. Like I was like Godzilla 2014, like sure, it's not a masterpiece, but to me it is. I know people are gonna say like, oh my god, like why do you love this movie? I like 2014 a lot. Hopefully they come up with a sequel soon, but Toho said this was for only the true Godzilla fans, and I'm a true Godzilla fan. I love it. I loved it ever since I was born. You know, oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna do that thing again. So let's continue talking. The movie is great. It's okay. It's a good movie. They have multiple forms. It reinvents Godzilla's origins. It's now ever since Final Wars, they've always like referenced to the original. Like, and they ignore all previous installments. But this is a whole reboot. It reinvents Godzilla, but it ignores the original idea of him. It reinvents his origin story. Apparently Godzilla was this weird cell that was in the ocean and nuclear waste got into the cells and then it created this thing. But Godzilla didn't start out like that. He was this monster, which I'm going to be showing on screen in 2 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. So yeah, that's what he starts out as. Monster A is its name. It is horrifying. When I watched this movie, it first comes out, has that giant Muppet eye, which the Muppet eye is what gets me. I love the first few. I love all the forms of Godzilla in this movie. Yes, Godzilla has multiple forms. He has a form called Monster A and Monster B. I'll show Monster B, I think, at the end of this video, and I'll show Shin Godzilla as well. But I need to get Monster A out of the way, and I'll show Monster B and Godzilla later. But it's horrifying. It's set his first form that we see, at least. We don't see his true first form because he has a tadpole form. But it's horrifying. He spews blood out of his gills. And he's just looks like an experiment that went wrong. This whole movie feels like that's what this movie feels like. It's just unnerving just to see Godzilla look like that. Soon he goes into his second form, Turkeyzilla as it's called, and it looks pretty good. I like that they used a lot of the original soundtracks. Soon Godzilla comes and destroys Tokyo. He has a few new abilities. He has his atomic breath, but it's more different this time. His first form of his atomic breath, he's breathing it onto the ground and spreads out. And I was like, wow, that's really unique. Then he has his atomic breath, which is actually fire. And an ability which I'm going to be calling his radioactive, which I'm going to call the radio beam, or the nuclear beam or something. I was going to call it the nuclear flare, but that's what his next attack is. It's more of like a laser beam, and actually is very effective. Everything about this movie is very cool. Soon he actually gains another ability. You see, stealth bombers go over Godzilla and actually blow him up. Well, not killing him, but he spews blood everywhere. And I have to say, the effects in this movie are amazing. That's the one thing I have to credit this movie for. Bravo, Toho Studios. You did amazing with the suits and special effects. Yeah. It's just amazing how this movie came out. If you're not a true Godzilla fan, like most of my friends, do not watch this movie. It's gonna be, if you did watch 2014, this is gonna be very confusing to you. I would suggest don't watch if you're not a Godzilla fan. But if you like the original, if you like the Toho Godzillas, I would suggest you watch that before you watch this, so you can at least get introduced to the monster. If you hate Godzilla like Mr. Fluffykins, you're not gonna like this movie. Now, okay, right here, there are gonna be spoilers for the rest of this video. I'm sorry I'm going this fast, but I wanted to do my real review. But past this point, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, just click out of this video right now, okay? Then you can come back and and I'll tell you my thing. Okay, here we go. So the movie starts out with like a weird like bomb that goes off, and it is thought to be a leakage, but then we see that like the subway get filled up with blood, I think. And then we see what I think is a giant tail, like it's waving and trying to get everyone's attention. It looks horrifying. It looks amazing, actually. But then it starts moving, and it gets onto land. And we see, like, weird cameos of it. We see, like, the tail of the monster, then the back. And then we see that giant, goofy-looking eye. And then we see Godzilla. Yeah, that's Godzilla. And that's Godzilla's new form. It's not another monster. I thought it was another monster. It's Godzilla. What the hell? But he's destroying everything, and I would say this movie, it is good. They try to blow him up, but then they think he dies in one part. But he's evolving. He goes into a bipedal stance. Like, he starts, like, he's somewhat of a quadruped in his first form, if that's how you say it. But not really, because he doesn't have any arms.
Like, he has these little, like, little nubs. He has these, like, little nubs coming out of his, like, chest or something. Yeah, he's a little T-Rex.
Then his, like, bipedal form, he looks like a T-Rex. He has a very long neck. He's blood red. And he actually is becoming a nuclear reactor. He's evolving too fast. He's going radioactive. He needs to go into the water, cool down. Because that's actually how radiation works. The rest of the movie, until the true Godzilla appears, they're just trying to, like, figure out where this creature went and how are they going to destroy it. Then we see Godzilla in his monstrous new form. I have to say, it is scary and amazing. This is the one thing I love this movie, why I love this movie. But I'm going to get into the negative aspects of it later. This is why I love this movie. It's amazing! The Godzilla suit. Sadly, it's not a suit. But it's amazing. The CGI is amazing. I knew that the first forms were going to be shot with CGI, but I didn't know what the final form was. It looks like a suit. It's everything about this movie is amazing, except for one part. But they decide to shoot Godzilla. They bring out tanks, missiles. They don't bring out the stealth bombers yet. But they bring out everything to destroy him. They show how indestructible Godzilla is. They shoot missiles, machine guns, and bombs, guns, everything. They use all of our artilleries, and it's all just bouncing off Godzilla. Like, it doesn't even, like, make an explosion. It's going pew, 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 pew. Just imagine, like, he has such a thick skin, and he doesn't even flinch. He's just going, okay. Like, this is what he's like. Like, okay, just imagine, like, pew, 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 pew. They're not even exploding. He's just going like, hey, what's up? That's what this movie, that's what that scene's like. It's amazing. I was like, yay! Like I was just like having like little like I was like balled up in my seat. He destroys everything in his path. They want to they do, but the Americans actually make the Americans come in this movie and they want to nuke Godzilla, but they don't have. But it gives more of a realistic aspect. That's where you put realistic in this movie. They failed with that for 1989, but they nailed making it realistic. Not Godzilla himself, but the ability to like shoot stuff. Like they're wondering like, how much damage this is gonna do. Will this actually kill the monster? How are we gonna launch this stuff? That's amazing. It is somewhat. It's interesting. It's not amazing, I would say. That's some. Now I just have to say the acting in this movie is good. The characters are not. They don't get into any action. They're not. Like they're either just talking like, how are we gonna destroy Godzilla? It's just all that. And then the Americans come in and they bomb Godzilla. They don't use a nuclear bomb, but they destroy him. Like they blow him up, and they hit his back, and he just burst out blood, and he actually is hurt. But he doesn't care because then I thought he was going to use his trademark breath attack. His trademark like atomic breath, that new laser thing. He does, but then he does something new. He crouches over, and then thousands of beams come from his back. And I was like, what the hell? I was speechless at that moment. It was like Godzilla was like a laser show now. Godzilla destroys everything. He goes to sleep. And his whole body like has to cool down, so he goes to sleep. And this is where the movie gets very, very boring. Nothing happens for like 30 minutes of the movie after Godzilla goes to sleep. We do get little teasers. Something happens on his tail. I don't really have the rest of the tail to this because I couldn't find it. I would have gotten the full tail, but on the tip of its tail, a little like jaw opens up, goes like, and then he starts shooting the laser from his tail as well. I think that's interesting. And it's just like stupid teasing. Like this is what they did in 2014. Like teasing in 2014, it was okay. Like I know people would say like it's boring and stuff like that, but I don't really have a problem with it. But this is where I'm like desperate to see something. And then they show over Godzilla and they show like his skin starts to turn red again. I'm like, oh, he's waking up. Back to dialogue. More freaking dialogue. That's what I don't like about this movie. It's too much dialogue. I would say this is a great Godzilla movie. It's just that the acting is like the characters, like they're good. But there's not enough action with the characters. That's where 2014 exceeds this movie. Sure, people say that 2014 was bad because they focused too much on the characters. Yeah, it's Tails Godzilla. They focused too much on the characters and not enough on Godzilla. Sure, but at least they replaced that with action. Like the people, like the military, actually trying to destroy Godzilla and the Mutos. I wish, like, I'll say like what I think that could have made this movie much better. At the end. So, what's next? They make a cooling weapon. They don't use the oxygen destroyer. Spoiler for the original 24, for the 90, for the original Godzilla, they use an oxygen destroyer for that one. But in this movie, they like use like propelling like fusion tanks and then like fill them up with hydrogen, like not hydrogen, liquid nitrogen or something like that. And they freeze his body. The freezing reminds me of the last Godzilla movie, Godzilla vs. Destroyer! Into Cinemassacre, I love you. You're awesome. You're a great Godzilla fan too. But Destroyer, well, they freeze Godzilla because he's going into a meltdown. The freezing is cool. They end off the movie on a great note, like, but they say something like, which I think they're gonna make a Shin Godzilla 2 or like a sequel to this. Because now mankind has to coexist with Godzilla or Gojira. But super spoilers here. If you don't want this, is where theories of this movie have been spiked to the maximum. They go pan around to Godzilla, but then they see his tail and they see weird humanoid Godzillas. Like imagine like humans that have Godzilla spikes on them and they're just like crawling up out of his tail. but they're all frozen. What do you guys think that is? Comment down below saying what do you think that thing is, and I'll do it. So, I'm going to say this. Story, it's okay. I'm going to give it 4 soggy noodles out of 5. The Godzilla action, bravo. It's 6 super cool atomic breaths out of 5. Yeah, I gave an amazing rating for once. Yeah, woo! Woohoo! But it is very flawed. Around the second act, you're so bored because you're waiting for Godzilla. If you want, I would recommend you to watch this movie. But skip all the dialogue, just watch Godzilla. Watch all the first act, because that's good. Skip around to the second act. Skip away from the second act. Skip when Godzilla falls asleep. Just go to that, skip that, and then just go to where he wakes up and is destroying stuff again. So, yeah. I just love this movie. But, okay, I'm going to say what this movie could have done better. The action with the humans. We don't get that much interaction with them. It's boring. They're so boring in the second act because they're just like saying, like I was falling asleep. And the worst part was that there were subtitles. And I was like, ugh. Where's this movie gonna, like, where's Godzilla? Like, I was moaning. There are funny moments, like the guy going, ah! But that wakes you up. You have to, like, learn how to destroy Godzilla. It's interesting, to say the least. If they put a little more Godzilla in, and actually, the Godzilla scenes are amazing. If they put a little more action in, like, showing, like, people getting hurt, the main protagonist getting hurt, stuff like that, that would be good. But they don't. Anyways, I've been GoGoZilla, and I'm gonna leave you off with these cool this cool stuff with Godzilla. And remember, it takes 2 Godzillas to tango, and the world isn't big enough for 2 Godzillas. Will we ever see Godzilla vs. King Kong rematch? Hopefully. Will we ever see Godzilla vs. Gamera? Probably not. Hopefully we will. And will we ever see Godzilla or Gojira, Shin Godzilla versus the American 2014 Godzilla? Yeah, because this is another Godzilla. There are now 2 Godzillas in the world. That's what that thing meant. So, bye-bye.